Shefsky here, and welcome to Fantasy House. Every episode, every week, we have an amazing guest come on, and they're all great. They're all good times. They're all different, and they always lead us through a journey, a very personal journey of their imaginary fantasy house. It's MTV Cribs times Rick and Morty times... Well, I think that's it. That's the whole equation. It's MTV Cribs times Rick and Morty. You're getting a cartoony tour of people's fantasy house, and it's insane fun. It's the world's only NSFW real estate podcast. There's no other not safe for work real estate podcast. This episode is brought to you by me. I'm your Southern California realtor, and I love it. It's my full-time occupation and pasión. That's Spanish for occupation and passion. If you're thinking about buying a house, selling a house, investment property, multifamily apartment buildings, any of that good stuff, I'd love to chat with you about it. Free consultations. Let me know. Send me a direct message in Instagram. On Instagram. In Instagram sounds weird, like you're stuck inside of the app. Some sort of weird Tron problem. I'm talking about go on Instagram. Go to Jon Shefsky, JONSHEFSKY. Why not? Go there. Send me a direct message. I'd be happy to be of service. This episode's going to be a good time. I have my buddy Matt Cohen here. He's an actor and an Australian. And it's when you put those two things together, it's literally fire. It's fire everywhere. That was him. He just Matt, I didn't even introduce you yet. I know, but I can't help myself. Yeah. Crikey, I just need to speak. Matt, I haven't even introduced you yet. It's going to be a great time. You could tell by his voice already that he's a brilliant, amazing man. Now, in the words of the great Angelo Bowers, let us do this!
Your Australian accent is pretty good, but you just got to think about everything's one word.
The whole sentence is one word?
It's just one word.
There's no breaking?
There's no breaking.
No deep breaths?
No. And then a fuck. Or, you know.
Yeah, you throw in fuck and you say fuck.
This might be a R18 plus kind of podcast because I may have to swear quite a little bit.
Oh, no, you're allowed to.
Well, it's just my general vernacular, right?
Do you swear that much? I never feel like
that's
not a big...
Fuck yeah. I do, but I try and keep it down because Americans are a bit weird about swearing. And back home, then you could pretty much say it on TV, but here you're like beep, beep, beep all the time. And I'm like, even for like shit and balls and pop. There's some songs on the radio.
You got me going. You said shit and balls, and I was like, yeah, shit and balls.
There's some songs on the radio that are like, and I'm going with it, and I come out.
Oh, they blip them
and
out.
I go up, and I'm seeing and I'm like, okay. What's the point of playing the song?
Well, America's, I think we started off puritanical, right? So we came over here from all these places in Europe, and we kept a lot of our puritanical roots. And so we've got kind of a weird outgrowth from that because I've always thought it was weird, like how people are so like if you look at TV, like they're not allowed to show anything sexual, but they are so okay with tons of violence. And I used to have jokes about it during my stand-up days when it was just like, no, my son can't play a video game where he gets a BJ. Now give him back his game where he's blowing up people's heads. I'm saying there should have been a game. I used to have a joke about that. Like there should have been like, how is that not?
There are some games like that. There's games where you kind of have sex and you get to flirt and choose a partner. And
what game's that?
The Witcher has,
The Witcher?
The Witcher, yeah, there's a TV show on Netflix. But it's a very popular game. It's a very popular novel series.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And you get to woo women and you get to have sex with women.
Like visually on the game you're watching?
Visually, you see boobs. You don't see like
penetration.
You don't see that, but you get, it's like a, M rating kind of.
M rating for mature?
Yeah. Yeah,
and it's quite Melbourne or something like that. This is rated Melbourne.
And then you get to be like, hey, you can go and live at my house. It's like Kia Morgan, it's called, and you get to go live at this person. How you can ask them, so you can get.
This is an Australian joke, or this is
no. This is happens in the game, and
okay.
then you can get. You can have like 3 relationships with all these women in the game and send them back to your castle.
Really,
and then. At the end of halfway through the game, you got to go back to your castle, which is a fair way away, and they're all there.
Really?
And they're all fighting.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. It's fascinating.
It's a good game. It's very, It's a good world building kind of game.
So you're in a relationship.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I have a beautiful wife of 3 years now. We've been together.
You have 3 wives? Then you're not playing The Witcher. That's what I ask everyone. So how many wives do you have? 1? You're not playing The Witcher.
You didn't play The Witcher, did you?
What do Australians, what do they call penetration? Is there a word for that?
You got I don't know. We certainly don't say penetration.
I can tell.
One upper.
One upper?
Get one upper.
Oh, that's so gross. I'm going to have to edit that out. It's the world's only not safe for work real estate podcast, and I have to take a word out. I'm just joking. It stays in. We're all adults. If you're a kid listening to this, then your parents have let you know that it's okay.
There's little kids.
It's okay to hear this
fans, I'm sure.
Right? There's a 10-year-old out there that's like, yeah, these guys say all the cool words. Yeah.
It's like South Park, right? It's influencing young kind of people. And
I hope so. I feel like South Park, I thought it would influence society more by now. I thought we'd be in a better spot like 20 years later because South Park's got so much good reasoning.
It has incredible influence over me still. And I still watch the episodes and this is hilarious. And I think it's just one of those TV shows that's gone with me on my journey through humor, on my creative journey and my thoughts and feelings, and they represented it so much.
Yeah.
Because when I was 14, I'm like, they represented me there. But now, I'm 30 plus, but they're still representing me in humor and political kind of standpoints and what's wrong and right with the world. It's very, very thought out.
Yeah. Oh, it's. I don't even know if they have to think about it. If it's thought out, like if they have to think about it, I think they're just they're smart and they use a lot of reasoning.
Yeah.
And they make fun of everybody.
And they make the shows like 2 weeks before they air. They got this super ridiculous tight turnaround. So it's all super relevant. Anyway,
that's a 6 days to air, the documentary when they're talking about that. It's brilliant.
That one.
And you see that and you go, oh man, there's magic to that, confining yourself in that space and be like, it's got to come out in 2 weeks. I don't care what.
Yeah.
Like we don't have time. It's like, wow, there's a magic to that kind of.
And this podcast is going to be super relevant because it's going to come out in 2 days, right? So
I never thought about it that way, but you know what?
We could be influencing people's journeys through their lives.
Well, all media does, right? It's like food. They say you are what you eat. I'm also like you are what you like consume like media wise. Do the music and the movies and the news and whatever you're watching and listening to. So if you listen to all folk music, you're probably going to be like a little bit more of a cool folky.
Yeah.
And if you listen to all CNN or Fox, you're probably going to be insane. And you know what I mean? Like, and if you listen to all Fantasy House, I'm not sure. The experiment is not up yet. We got about 20 more years before we know.
There's a guy in an incubator at the moment that's just purely listening to
Fantasy House incubator. Yeah. Well, you wonder, like, if aliens are looking at radio waves, do they have a way to download like podcasts?
Of course they do.
across the galaxy, like at the edge of the Milky Way, and they're like,
I'm sure aliens are checking out, like,
but they haven't left me a review yet, though, Matt.
They probably have.
They have.
They're probably Steve from bloody
Steve 127. That was an alien.
Yeah, 27 is Steve is their counting names is their counting. And they have numbers that are their names.
That's how
it's around.
Oh, it's flipped around there.
Yeah.
Like, how old are you? Stanley Melissa.
Yeah. And what's your name?
32. This is the stupidest joke I think I've ever been part of, and I'm stoked on. We should tap mics as if we're like cheersing like wine glasses.
Oh, like
cheers or cheers, as you guys say after everything.
Cheers. Cheers. We say it after everyone. I write it in my emails like cheers, and people are like, oh, that's so cute. It's like, no, it's thank you.
How did you guys end up with such a similar accent to New Zealand, even though you guys are like, we're not the same place, which I know you guys are.
Well,
Pangea, dog. We're all the same place.
I think the English went to Australia first and eventually went over to New Zealand. And then a lot of displaced Russian Jews, interestingly enough, came through New Zealand.
Really?
And there's a lot still there, yeah.
I had no idea about this.
And then
I'm a Russian Jew.
Some went through to, and then some went through to Tasmania, where my parents are from. So the little island down the bottom, that's where my parents are from. All their family. They say they have 2 heads down there because they're all inbred cousins. But
inbred Jew, European Jew cousins?
Quite possibly.
Wow, that's super weird. I had no idea.
Yeah, and I remember my... a family all had these old heirlooms that they kind of brought down with them, like old kind of vanity tables and, big pieces of furniture that have been in families for years. And I don't know how they got it down there, but they did.
It's so far from Russia. Like, I'm just like, this is, and for our listeners, I'm sure I've probably said this enough times, but like Jews, like we get kicked out of everywhere. We end up having to run from places. We become the scapegoat. And, I haven't been there to visualize it all in history to see what happened. But from what I know, like, it's just crazy. Like, we end up on all these places all around the globe where we're just like, this is where we ran to.
I think mainly those people who were displaced kind of assimilated. So we do have a Jewish population in Australia and Melbourne especially, but Tasmania not so much. So people have... Why did you smoke?
Because when you say Tasmania, I'm such a what do you call it, like a knuckle dragging American that I just imagine like the Tasmanian Devil, and I imagine I imagine like cartoony.
They're all dying because they've got like a weird cancer
that only they have, and there's no cure for it. Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
Anytime indigenous people start to like dwindle off and they lose like their language and like I'm like, that's part of the Library of Alexandria. Where we're just like, dude, we don't want to lose that. We want them like to stick around, and it's such a
crazy because the Tasmanian Devils were everywhere in Australia. They've got in the Northern Territory, which is like 4.
Wait, are you talking about Tasmanian Devils, the animal?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Tasmanian people, like the indigenous people of that area of Australia were dying because they had a weird cancer.
No, Tasmanian Devils.
The animal, the Tasmanian devil. Oh.
The indigenous population was killed a long time ago in Tasmania, unfortunately.
But there still are some people there, right?
No, they almost wiped them out. Yeah.
This is not supposed to be a depressing podcast, but it is a real podcast. It is. So holy shit.
It is terrible what happened, and I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but yeah, they got unpolitely asked to leave. And, that's
part of the disgusting history of the world. It's pretty weird, right? Like that, all that stuff happened in the past, and obviously stuff is still happening.
Yeah,
but
and every continent and every country has that had that happen to them at some point. Their indigenous population got
even white people's countries where people are like, white people took it over. It's like, oh no, there were white indigenous tribal people too. Like it's like everywhere there was the giant steamroller of like the Roman Empire and like modern culture has rolled over it and been like, fuck you, we'll take all of your resources, we'll take your women, your children, and if the men fight and don't want to be slaves or warriors, then we'll crush them too. It's like no matter where it is, it's just like a weird machine. It's been growing.
Is that happening kind of like on the digital frontier at the moment, do you think?
Ooh, that's a really good question, dude. Man, that's a really good question. I don't know.
I'm thinking about the next wave of that, the next progression of that. Like, what is that in the 21st century?
Well, what you're making me think of, and this is where it's going to get super weird, is you're making me think of, you're almost like labeling like the fundamental traits of evolution, regardless of biological evolution, just for an existing thing to evolve. Like a system, like the internet or online stuff, like you're saying, it's just it's not alive biologically, but it's a system, it's a thing, and so for that, like the strong survive. That's what evolution is, right? I don't know. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
No.
It's
you just rolled your eyes at me, but Australian eye rolling, so it goes the opposite direction.
This is not really the direction I thought it would go, but it's very
right. You make it fun again, Matt. You made us all serious.
Australia's a great place, and it's beautiful people, and we've been hurt hard with the fires at the moment. And thanks for the international community for helping out.
Is that all good now?
It's all good. There's a bit of rain. It's just rebuilding process at the moment.
Did we save most of the species?
No, not at all.
Really? So we lost like extinct species.
About half of them.
No way.
A lot of. Koalas are close.
Were they close before the fires?
Yeah, they all had chlamydia and they were dying.
I heard that like in high school. That was like one of those weird facts that like some stoner kid would tell you.
So Tasmanian Devils, they got cancer. Koalas got chlamydia. It's just
I'll tell you
what's going on down.
That's just we need universal species healthcare. Get these slutty koalas taken care of. Can't we just dip them all in like a hydrogen peroxide bath and get rid of their clam?
I'm sure that would work.
Isn't that it? Get rid of that chlamydia? Humoring me by just saying
Yep.
Well, seriously, how do koalas get chlamydia?
I don't know. It's just a specific strain to them.
And they're just promiscuous and they get it? Or is it
I'm not sure.
Climbing up and down those branches?
I think it's like being like unclean and lazy and I don't know.
Like 20.
I grabbed that out of nowhere.
Oh, okay. I thought you knew. Well, you're Australian. Maybe you're like a very David Attenborough, like, I live with the animals. I know.
Well, I love nature documentaries and nature, and that would probably come up in my fantasy house at some point about like my love and interest
Well, let's get into your fantasy house. So if we're flying
Is that the introduction?
Yeah, it is.
My name's Matt, by the way. I'm Australian. I live in Los Angeles. And I try to act, and I'm generally likable.
You don't try to act. You do act, good sir.
Sometimes.
Okay. Well, you've booked. You've gotten your check. You bought that sweet shirt that you're wearing with money you made acting, most likely.
Thank you.
Right?
It's my acting shirt.
Your wife bought you that shirt with her job. You're like, my acting money had to go towards...
It's more like that. It's definitely like that. I don't buy my own clothes. My wife...
We're like their dolls. We're like their adult dolls.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan used to have a joke about his wife dressing him up like an idiot so that when he'd go out, she wouldn't have to worry about him like meeting another woman. So she purposely would buy him gifts. And he still dresses like pretty hilarious. So
I never thought of it that way. No. Well, I just don't think my wife would handle being embarrassed. I'm embarrassing to her in general anyway, so she doesn't want me more embarrassing.
You can look up Matt on his Twitter. His handle is Matt the Cuck, if you would.
It's the danger zone, actually.
It is the danger zone.
I got that 2012 when Instagram came out, and I was like, yeah, everyone's going to want this name. Someone will buy it off me.
Oh, you got it because you thought you would market it.
Yeah.
That
the danger zone.
Classic Australian entrepreneurship.
I know, and no one has ever offered me, and so I'm stuck with this name.
It's great, though. For those of us that love Top Gun, it works.
Yeah.
But for those of us that know you, we're like, there's nothing dangerous about you.
No. Not at all.
Not at all.
I have a zone, but there's no danger.
That's even cooler. That's a great... you should put that underneath it. The
normal zone.
The bio part. I have a zone, but there's no danger.
Yeah.
All right, so where is your fantasy house at?
Okay. It's a studio apartment in downtown LA for $3,000 a month.
Okay. You fool.
I think it's achievable.
You fool.
No, I was really thinking... I've listened to a lot of your podcasts previously, Fanny House.
That's come up. People have had that Freudian slip multiple times, and I've been like,
Fanny
that
House.
is a whole nother podcast that I would love to do. Fanny House. All the squishiest tushies of the internet. Fanny House.
Right. I wanted to go initially the humble route, and I've listened to your podcasts, and there's just been some really humble people that have had really simplistic views that... Not simplistic, but really interesting, kind of, but simple in the grand scope of having anything you've ever wanted in the world, right? Yeah. Your last one with Emily, I think it was, and she's like, I want this nice Art Deco thing in the nice single story in the hills, and I'm like, that's beautiful, that's really nice. And I was thinking, when I was having a brainstorm, I was like, maybe I should go that route, but fuck that. I'm going to let my ego soar a little bit here and kind of... get fantasy.
Good, I'm excited.
Because I'm a fantasy sci-fi kind of nut. So,
well, that's what this podcast is for you, dog.
I know.
Do it.
And when you said Rick and Morty, kind of mixing up with everything, I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what I got.
Was that a good way, like guide to get you like creative and kind of get you on the page?
Absolutely, I think so.
Okay,
so thank you for that. So at the moment, my two most comfortable places on Earth that I've been. I want to mix them together. So
okay, yeah.
Get ultimate comfort.
I love it.
One is in an island called Koh Jam in Thailand.
Okay.
And it's near kind of Phi Phi Island. It's like an island scattered near Phuket. Beautiful beachfront, rainforest, rainforest down, meet the white sands. Beautiful, nice, warm water, right? But I don't want that everyday life. I like it for a couple of weeks of the year, right?
Yeah.
Because then you get to enjoy it a lot.
You appreciate it more because absence makes the heart go.
Correct.
Fantasy.
Correct.
Heart.
So I want that kind of in LA.
Yeah.
In the hills.
Okay.
I know a few of yours has been in the hills, but
that's great.
You have something beautiful here that your people aspire to come here and live, right? That's what my life was. You have a draw card here, and it is legitimately beautiful walking around the hills of Silver Lake or Hollywood Hills or anything like that. It's beautiful architecture, beautiful thoughts. Yeah. Every house is different, and it's just the landscape's really something that I connect to as a kind of social person. I want to be connected with people, but then I also want that seclusion, right? So the entrance is still kind of beachfront, and you got a nice warm beach. So I've got a heater in the water. There's a heater in the water. So it's heating up the water, right?
Your local water's hot.
I've chucked a couple of space heaters in the water.
Hilarious.
And it's heating everything up, right? So you get warm water.
Yeah.
Not too big waves. I'm not really a surfy kind of guy. I'd like to be, but nothing overbearing. Nothing that's going to shit your pants. There's certainly no sharks.
Did you say shit your pant like singular?
In Australia, we have one.
It's just one
that
pant?
we all share. but you won't be able to see the house, right? It's going to be like a secret entrance through like a. It's going to be a secret entrance through like a treehouse kind of thing.
That's cool.
I love like Hook and stuff like that.
Yes.
That old, Spielberg. Oh, I say old. It's not really. It's like 90s, but like that kind of treehouse entrance. Lots of fun happening. Like lots of crazy shit. So basically, that is like the entrance to the main house. I would say it's just like the guest greeting house, to my estate that I have. And then in the vein of Spielberg, there's a gondola. And so that takes you up. So it's kind of like we're on kind of like a mountain landscape where there's a beachfront at the front, tropical, going up into the mountain. So you have the gondola there and you get in and it's like a wooden gondola and... the Jurassic Park theme starts playing. So you can see when I was young, I watched like Spielberg, like some of my only DVDs that VHSs that I ever got were.
It's the golden age of Spielberg, yeah.
Yeah, and so there was something about that just kind of melded my mind into coming here and making it my goal to be here and work here. So, no, that's Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. So then we got the gates. It's got Matthew Cohen written, or Matt Cohen. I'm not sure which.
No, put your full name, Matthew Cohen.
I think Matt Cohen. Okay. Oh, Matthew Cohen.
I think the full name, Matthew Cohen. Yeah.
And it's opening like the gates in Jurassic Park, right? And you're going in this gondola up the mountain.
Yep.
And then it's opening, and you're like, oh, it's a massive house. Okay, it's if you think of like modern Aztec Temple.
Whoa! Yes.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Made out of stone, but everything's kind of windows. Everything's kind of like... So if you think of like Aztec Temple, it's got the big layers.
It's like a pyramid, but with like giant squares. Yeah.
With levels. The square
giant
levels.
Yes.
That go smaller.
Yeah.
So that's what you... Whoa.
That's rad.
Yeah. And
I can't believe I haven't seen that yet, too. That's so cool.
And it's kind of in the side of the cliff, so kind of half the pyramid is out and the other half is in the cliff, if that makes sense.
I love it.
Because it's like a mountain. So you're going up and you're like, whoa.
You're seeing like the rock texture and then you're seeing all the glazing in that pyramid shape coming out of it.
So it's a modern interpretation of an Aztec temple.
Dude, love it.
So, it's built on the side of the mountain and the gondola takes you up and you're seeing, you're going through over the gardens, you're going through, there's a little pitch and putt, so I can't fucking play 18 holes, no way. So it's a little pitch and putt. There's a cricket net, for my Aussie friends coming over. There's a cricket net, baseball field, but it's where the Dodgers have relocated to. So they're not called Los Angeles, they're called Matt Cohen Dodgers now.
Oh, that's great.
And it's a stadium, right? And you can go in there and play them and you can pick up tips anytime you want, right? You just go in there mid-game, you're like, hey, no, sorry, Matt Cohen wants to come and play. Dude. We got to spend another couple hours teaching him the fastball.
I love it, dude.
Basketball court, obviously, again, Matt Cohen Lakers. There's a theme park called Doggy World.
Doggy World?
Yeah. And it's just full of dogs. You come and bring in all sorts of dogs. People just come around from the neighborhood and then they pay. And they got all these kind of crazy dog attractions and amusements, like roller coasters for dogs, little like wave pool for dogs.
Dude.
All this.
Roller
I just love dogs.
For dogs.
I just love, like, I walk out and I just like freak out when I see a dog park.
I love dogs too.
So that's what I want in my life. I think they're a brilliant representation of honesty and purity. There's, of course, fruit trees, avocados, lemon. I do a lot of gardening, so I'm getting into it a bit, so I want that accessibility, right?
Yeah.
But there's also a pasta garden. So you got like gnocchis, you got your, I know, gnocchi's not the first thing you think of when you say pasta, it's potatoes.
I was thinking of gnocchis as the pasta. Wait, did you say pasta garden?
Gnocchi's like made out of traditional, like
potatoes. It's potato and flour, right? It's
correct.
It's a potato flour.
Then you have your linguine.
Wait, you said you have a pasta garden?
Yeah.
I thought you said this is my bad, dude. Because of your accent and my
inability
to adapt over here. I thought you said past the garden, so I apologize. I didn't realize you said pasta garden. Otherwise, you would have gotten a fucking better reaction out of me for having a pasta garden. Yeah, you said pasta garden. Pasta to me is a pasta. So yeah, I apologize because that's hilarious. A pasta garden.
You got your spaghetti, your linguine. You dig it up from the dirt, give it a bit of a wash. put it in some water, and you're ready to go.
Oh, dude, you're so weird. I love it. It's so great.
There's a lasagna kind of patch as well, so you can cut that out of the ground.
Oh, for sure.
And then there's a pizza tree where the leaves are like slices of pizza.
Yeah.
You go off and...
A pizza tree?
Yeah.
Oh, my God,
so
dude.
You got the pepperoni tree, you got your Hawaiian tree. I don't know. You got your different slices,
dude.
And they're all season. They're always in season, right?
It's always in season.
It's always in season.
In Matt Cohen Dodgers Adelphia. That's a TV show on Fox. They're on their 10th season.
So you're going up this gondola, right? You're going up there. You're seeing all these beautiful gardens, and people are enjoying it. So I want people over. Everyone's enjoying the life there. So you get into the entrance hall there in the gondola, and it opens up. And guess who greets you?
Who greets me?
We got him, Shefsky. We got him. Jesus.
Oh, dude, I'm thinking way too small on celebrities to be like, Jesus.
We fucking got him. We got him. He was a little busy, but this is Fantasy House, and
Jesus greeting you.
And he's an okay dude. He's not preachy or anything like that. He's just like a chill dude. He's like, welcome to Matt's house. This is, this is here. You want to come and have a chat to me about something, that's fine. But, I'm just here to chill. Just to be, because,
that's how I imagine.
He's a good guy, right?
I imagine that, yeah.
We fucking got him. I'm so happy that we got him.
I'm excited too. I don't even know what to ask. I guess I do know what I would.
Well, no, it's not that kind of... Not that, he's kind of like Californian Jesus, right? He's just chill.
Okay.
He's just like, you can come and talk to me. Not right now. Go enjoy the space. Come and have a chat later in the night, right?
Yeah. That's when most of us try to talk to Jesus. Like,
when you've had a couple.
Roll around in bed, trying to sleep.
When you've had a couple.
I got some big questions. I need some help.
Yeah, but it's not required. It's not necessary. He's just there to keep things going along. To keep everyone in a good mood. So the house as a whole.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. So the house as a whole, you got to think of it like, have you seen the film The Cube?
The Cube?
The Cube. It's about like people that wake up in like a cell, but the cells are all like dangerously triggered with like traps and shit like that.
No. Is it a horror movie?
Yeah, it's like early 2000s. And you've got to travel through these cubes that are constantly moving around this big cube.
That sounds like life. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like a Rubik's cube if you think about it.
Okay.
A massive Rubik's cube. So, but this is what my house does. So the central thing in the house is a kitchen, because like I think that's like the focal point. That's like the thing where everything comes from, in the kitchen. You go there to get nourishment. You go there to get drinks. Go there to cook, and I love cooking, and so I want that as the center. But then in the kitchen, you get to kind of like cool in the other rooms. Be like, hey, can I have the living room, please? And it goes, and it's
the living room will just be there next to the kitchen.
It's like going around.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's like Rubik's Cube house, and you just call in the room that you want to go out, or the level that you want to go hang out in, right?
Yeah.
So you're there, and one of the rooms is like an aquarium room. It's like a full, massive like aquarium.
Yeah.
And there's like this gel or like plastic covering on it, and you can just walk straight into it, and it kind of covers you and lets you just walk around in the aquarium. And like
without a gas mask on or anything like that.
It's just like a plastic wall, and you just walk in.
Fair.
And
that's trippy technology. I'm liking this.
Yeah, it's like futuristic kind of space gel that allows you to breathe.
That's a really cool way to market it.
Yeah.
It's a futuristic space gel.
$9.99.
Yeah, that's
and then you kind of go and you can rake some sand. I don't know, clean the inside of the glass. I don't know, go play with some sharks or whatever. And that's the aquarium room. So, and it all spins around.
Love it.
Centralized on the kitchen. There's a VR room.
Do you even need a VR room if you can have any room you want?
I know.
No, you do. You still got to have the virtual version.
There's a short story by Ray Bradbury called in the Illustrated Man, where there's a room. It's a VR room. It's very, very early interpretation of VR. I think it's like one of the first. And it's like these kids that go into this safari, and then the animals like start talking to them and influencing them and make them like kill their parents and stuff like that. It's real weird.
One of those scary Ray Bradbury.
So So it's a VR room where you can go and just do whatever you want, right? It's a space you can go and visualize. It's meditative as well. And
there's no animals that are telling anyone to kill their parents, right?
Well, that depends on the person that goes in the VR room.
Dear Lord. That's why Jesus works here. And we're going to need some Jesus.
So we got the revolving house, and you know, there's all stuff that I would want there, like a music production room, a soundstage for like filming, all the stuff that I love. You can guess kind of all the stuff that you can just call in to kind of come down and help you. And then there's like, I've had this thought of, it's like a thought about like Alexa and smart houses and stuff like that, but it's a therapy. It's a therapy house. Yes. So what I'm thinking is, you've got everything you've ever wanted, but sometimes you're still not grateful for that, or you still. I might be a negative thinker if I have a negative outlook on things a lot of the time. So I want this house to be like, only works if you're like positive and grateful. So kind of retraining myself into be constantly positive and grateful. So the house shuts down. And you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. And it goes, and you're like, oh, wait, no, I'm grateful for being here.
It's powered by your gratefulness?
Yeah. So fuck solar, fuck all that. It's powered by what's in here, in your heart and your soul, and however grateful that you are.
I just love it.
Right?
This house is powered by gratuity.
Don't you think that's a great idea?
Dude, I love it. I think it's genius.
And if you're thinking about not being grateful and the lights start to flicker.
This is like, dude, the thing, and you're like, oh, no, actually, this is pretty good.
So are you kind of retrained my mind?
It seems like a weird kind of joyous fascism.
Yeah, so this therapy house is like, whoa, no. You're happy with your situation, Matthew. I'm going to continue powering the house.
Oh, dude, it's so trippy, so weird, and awesome.
So, yeah, that's kind of one of the thoughts I had about kind of the basic setup. And, downstairs is like, I like kind of old Americana cars. So there's like maybe a racetrack, but all the other kind of races are in like shitty Dodge Chargers, and you just ram them off the road and like, because they're like the worst drivers in the world.
So you have a giant racer's ego, and you're like, no one can have a car as good as me.
No, it's just everyone in LA that has a Dodge Charger is the worst driver asshole in the world.
Oh, dude, Priuses, Land Rovers, maybe some Dodge Chargers. I haven't.
I stay away from those motherfuckers.
When I used to ride my bike to work, when I worked at the bike shop, like Priuses and Land Rovers tried to kill me every day, and different cars too. Different cars, not the same one.
And you have those people in there, right? The people that you can just let
They're
it
in
out.
The car?
Yeah, and just ram them off. The girl's on the phone, and she's like, yeah, Sebastian.
But Matt, won't that affect the light and all the power to your house? Because
I'm so grateful that I get the opportunity to do this.
You found a workaround, you piece of shit. I'm so grateful I'm allowed to be an asshole right now. I'm so grateful I get to run these people virtually off the road.
Yeah, because you got to let it out, right? You got to let it out still. And that follows on to kind of my next kind of feature of the house is like the butler is like.
Speaking of letting it out, you're going to bring up the butler?
He's not really a butler. He's more of like a punching bag where you get out all your negative energy and stuff like that. And it's Hitler.
Oh my God.
So it's Hitler's there, and he's just in like a little kind of like apron. And this is the guy that you're just like, fuck you, and you're just like letting it out on someone,
That's
right?
Hilarious. Don't you feel bad for Hitler, though? Not
at all.
He was a baby once that had some weird stuff, He had some weird stuff happen to him, and that's how he turned out.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's not Hitler. Maybe it's like Pol Pot or
same
like
thing.
Goebbels.
Take any fascist. Anytime anyone's a fascist piece of shit, you're like, oh, you're like a sad little 4-year-old, you poor piece of shit. It's just scary that they have any power. It's like when you see Trump having a tantrum or being an asshole, you're just like, oh, you're just like a little baby that just wasn't treated right by the older generation when you were that young. And now you've grown up to be a little baby with, adult abilities.
All right. Hitler's off. Butler Hitler.
Oh, no, you can still have Hitler.
No, it's off. And I don't know if I like the idea of slavery in my house. Someone that's working for me.
Right? Especially if Jesus is going to be there watching you do these things.
Jesus is hanging out and being cool, right?
He's not judging.
Okay. No Butler Hitler.
Okay, no Hitler Butler.
Okay, my next note.
Oh, dude, I love how I came in there and told you, like, no, you can't even torture Hitler. It's just wrong. It's like racism. It's not good from any angle.
My next note. Tsunami machine.
That's not a wave machine. That's a tsunami machine.
So, for some reason, waves scare me, and I have like dreams about waves and tsunamis a lot. And I think it's interpreted as being overwhelmed or stressed or anxiety or something like that. But they still generally, scare the shit out of me.
It's like a reoccurring dream you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so I want to create this machine that kind of is a tsunami machine that hunts people down that you don't like.
Oh my God. The Vengeance House.
So No, not people I don't personally like. They're people that are shit and they just don't get their justice, right? Like when the community is like generally, that person needs to go.
You're going to tsunami them?
So not necessarily kill them, but like you get this machine and it sends out like a tsunami, but it's not like a full tsunami. It's like might be 3 or 4 foot wide. It's like a section, like a slice of cake of a tsunami.
Dude, I love it.
And the guy's walking down the street
and just gets.
And he looks behind him. Right?
Does he ever like going down a dark alley and like slowly it seems like it's picking up speed?
Yeah, it's coming out of the like trash cans behind. It's peeking from them, but it's like a tsunami.
What happens when it hits him?
He gets really wet and uncomfortable.
See, that's the kind of justice I can get into.
Yeah.
It's like public spankings.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of funny.
Yeah.
There's no lasting effects. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Like
tsunami.
something like Wendy Williams when she makes fun of some fucking disabled person. You're like, tsunami now.
Tsunami Wendy. Hashtag Tsunami Wendy.
Get her all wet and her face just melts off.
I don't know who Wendy Williams is, but she's got it.
You don't want to know.
I don't follow politics close enough to know.
No, she's like a... don't worry.
Okay.
I had another note, shark teleporter. I might not get into that. That's pretty self-explanatory. But I know you're against teleportation and portals in your house, and I think that's a cop-out. And it's an ethical debate as well, because the particles that go in aren't necessarily the same particles that have gone out, right?
Is it the same consciousness even?
Is it the same person, or did I disintegrate myself and just replicate myself?
And you'll never know.
And you'll never, ever know. So I don't think I can live that. Maybe I could do it to a shark and send it to like someone also walking down the street. And
but then you wonder, like, what's the shark thinking about? Is that ethical to the shark?
True.
They're not as smart as us, but they still might be smart enough to suffer from it. So maybe we shouldn't teleport sharks either.
Okay.
That's definitely another rule. Hashtag,
no animal cruelty.
And shark teleportation.
Yeah, no Butler Hitler, no shark
I want to go, listen, we have a few minutes left, and I definitely want to go to a bathroom.
Okay. So I like privacy.
We got to go to a bathroom, we got to go to a garage, and then you got to have one personal thing after that. Okay, bathroom.
So, bathroom, it's kind of like a space elevator, so it goes up to like the outer atmosphere.
Yeah.
And you take it, you poo in like a glass kind of tube that's hanging over the outer atmosphere of the Earth. So it's very private.
What happens to your poop?
Oh, what do you think? It burns up in the atmosphere, mate.
Oh, I forgot that things do that. You're right. I was just trying to come back down to Earth.
It's cleanly. It's ethical. It's a space.
I just imagine the thing, when they show the videos of like a thing, like in movies, like a spaceship coming back into Earth and has that fire coming off the front of it and it's all hot and it's going. I just imagine a turd log
out the window and I'm just like,
I just imagine a turd log trying to come back into Earth, dude. Oh my God. A turd log re-entry.
So that's that. And like, I think I would get some privacy, but maybe some people with like some telescopes can like see me sometimes. But power to them, man.
I think that would be fun to be just fully naked up in space pooping and then just come back down.
Yeah. Right?
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. And
great bathroom, by the way. I said get creative and weird. That definitely did it.
But it's like a 15-minute journey to like...
Yeah, so if you like have just got done intermittent fasting and you just had a bunch of salad, you might not make it till...
I know. But I'm sure I'll still be on my phone if I'm like... I'll get bored of the view up there.
Of the view. Yeah, if you can get bored of the stuff that people will get bored of on Earth, you can get bored in space too. Yeah, it's great. Atmosphere, life's so precious. Planet, beautiful blue planet, great. Anyways, nobody liked my last post on Instagram. What am I, chopped liver over here?
That's right. I'll still be on my phone just being like...
Yep.
Going over like fucking the Aurora Borealis or whatever like that.
Yeah, not even paying attention. Ooh, that shoe designer in Spain just made a new shoe. Just liking their pictures. Okay, so great bathroom, by the way.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out with all the faucets and stuff like that in a house, it's a multifunction faucet, so you can get like beer or wine or anything like that, or a gin and tonic, or you know. So
every spindrift.
You get everything you want in this faucet, and you just go and turn it. So if you're in the shower, you're having a shower with water, but then you're like, I feel like a drink. So you turn the beer on for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. You can take a beer bath. There's places, I think my friend did it in Germany, where you could actually take a beer bath.
Okay,
It's supposed to
interesting.
be good for you. Beer's just amazing all around.
Yeah. And, you want some nice Bordeaux from, 1949.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Just Chateau.
Someone walks in and is like, "Oh my God, you're trying to kill yourself." No, it's just red wine, honey. Don't worry, honey.
Matt.
I'm very happy with my life. This is just red wine.
And the house is like, you better be happy with your...
Oh, yeah. And your house is like, "Wait, did you say you're not grateful?" Like, "Oh, no, I'm totally grateful." The shower just got cold for 2 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Take us through your garage, as you guys say in Australia.
Like the garage was kind of what I pointed out before, like a lot of the car hold. Vintage cars, lots of classic American. Like I'd love to own like a 67 Mustang, kind of like GT, which is still very achievable. Like I could make some rocket ship car, but there's still nothing is better than some things in reality, right?
Just a great daily driver that you can count on. That's
like a
beautiful and fun to
weekend
drive.
car,
Yeah.
like something like that. The garage wouldn't be spectacular, but I would like enough to have it open to people so they could come and like have a look at the collection.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Have it open so you're like, people, because I know that people would just love that. Like,
Yeah. Like you got like a Jay Leno Saudi Prince kind of thing going on. Like, look at my collection, and you let people come check it out.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like, yeah. I'm having to think that this is all very... I think of myself as a god in my own fantasy
That's
house.
okay, yeah,
It's like an Aztec temple.
No
that
guilt
has
in
Jesus
here.
there.
You don't have to hold back and feel like you're getting judged for this. It's
I know.
freaking hilarious.
I feel bad because like...
Nope.
You were
You feel
mentioning...
bad. The lights are going to start dimming in here.
You were mentioning a sunken living room on a podcast.
On Emily's, yeah. Oh, I love sunken living rooms.
But everything's sunken in my place.
But then then nothing's sunken. That's like saying everything is on rush. You're like, well, then it's all just normal.
Exactly. Everything's sunken.
So then there is nothing sunken.
Yeah, but...
Okay. Okay, you win. The contractor and the architect are like,
everything's sunken.
just tell him it's all sunken. And the contractor's like, yeah, but if it's all sunken, then there's nothing sunken. And the architect's like, yeah, no, I know.
But you got to make it just sunken.
Just tell him it's sunken.
Are we on the same page here? You have to make it sunken.
Totally, you got it.
The whole thing.
Coming up
the whole building.
right now, boss.
Got to get in that sunken toilet.
Well, the toilet's kind of sunken. The plumbing part is, at least. Or are you talking about having a toilet where you're at eye level with the ground around you, like some sort of like Darth Vader pod that you
That
crap
would
in?
be so awesome.
That would be awesome, but not as awesome as pooping into space and watching your turd re-enter.
Maybe we have a couple of varieties of. Do you want to go in the earth for a poop, or you poo in like the magma layer or something?
Oh, like right in, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like isn't that the best way to do anything? We should be pouring all of our trash into volcanoes,
Or just pooing straight into fires.
right?
Does someone have a patent on that?
I don't know about fires, because fires could let off a lot of fumes. But I feel like if you just like drop all of the trash on the planet into a volcano, it would just go like and melt into nothing. But I don't know a lot about science.
No, it might explode the whole earth.
It might not work. Okay. This is the end. Tell us what you do. Are there any other rooms? Do you have a final room that you want to show us?
Oh, look, my bedroom, it would be just classic, just big, nice, comfortable bed, right?
Okay.
Like...
What color is your sheets?
I want a bed that's kind of got like water in it.
It's called a waterbed. You want that in your sunken bedroom? You fucking asshole.
My aquarium with the gel wall.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I think
pizza tree is kind of just one of the most hilarious things.
The pasta garden.
Dude, a pasta garden and a pizza tree is like...
The pasta
My wife's
garden
gonna love
is
the
just
pasta
past
garden.
the pasta for the pizza.
It's just past... It's right... You're always frustrated.
Right at the
explaining to
past the pasta.
people. You're gonna go right past the pasta garden. And the guy's like, wait, what do you think? The pasta garden? No, right
next to the cricket nets. What the fuck's cricket?
Where can people find you, you crazy Australian? I mean, we already said you're...
The Danger Zone on Instagram. THE Danger Zone.
On Instagram.
And Matthew Cohen, I'm like on IMDb and all that kind of stuff.
I know industry people listen to this. If you're a filmmaker or anything like that, Matt's a great guy, dude. He works in production. He's an actor. Like, hit him up. Hit up, Matt.
I appreciate that. Is everyone out there that listens? There's an awesome podcast called Fantasy House.
Catch me on that one.
Catch you on that one. If anyone's in the Fantasy House industry out there,
please
check this out.
Do
Are
it.
you a fan of the fantasy retailer? A realtor?
Then
Is that what you are? What would be your fantasy house realtor dream?
my fantasy house realtor dream?
Yeah.
You mean to be?
So if you're
to be
selling
people's
fantasy houses, what kind of person are you?
I guess I would be people's real estate, like their fantasy realtor. Like
Yeah.
I would help them find the right fantasy house. And in the case of what this show has become, instead of finding the right fantasy house, I'd probably help them locate land for it and then develop the fantasy house, kind of watch over all the crazy stuff and help them secure that situation.
So even you're still in your wildest fantasy, you're still doing all the legwork.
Well, it feels good to be of service at some extent. Obviously, not as much as I am in this real realm that I'm in.
Right.
I think
You gotta earn it,
I think
right?
the whole
Yeah.
human race would probably be better if we worked like 3 on, 3 off or something like that. So you always kept that humbleness and that appreciation and like the just like you're talking about, feeling grateful, because you see it from the end of being like I think Tim Ferriss and his guest the other day, I forgot what her name was. She was it Brene Brown? She was saying like everyone should be a waiter at some point. You should just know what it's like to be of service as a waiter. Even if you're rich, like you should go be a waiter. It's like I feel that way. I'm like we should all be working, but we shouldn't be working the way we work. We've definitely got like an enslavement kind of society for a lot of people, not for everyone, but for a lot of people. So I think, even in a fantasy world, I still would want to work. You still want to be of service, you know? And I think healthy people generally do that. Even like retired people that don't quote work still go back. You look at there's a handful of people that reach like a financial independence, and then they spend their time mentoring younger people that are trying to go through what they went through, or they give back. I know my grandfather, he retired and then he would do the Big Brother program. And when I was a little kid, I was like, what are you doing that for? Like, you're retired. You can just go do whatever you want. It's like, but for him, it felt good for him to feel like he was of service, you know? And I think even in the fantasy world, I probably wouldn't work 7 days a week though. I'd work like 3.
7 minutes.
I take my wife out on a couple more fantasy vacations. I probably go out with my buddies on a couple more road trips.
But she's still angry that you're home late, and she's like, "It's my fantasy. What are you doing?"
Yeah, even in my fantasy, I'm like, "I'm sorry, babe. I'll do better next time. I'm working on it. You know, I love you. I'm doing my best." Shefsky's fantasy. He's still apologizing. If you're listening to this, babe, I love you, and I'm sorry for.
She's not listening to it.
She is. She's not.
She's not.
No, she is. She better be. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being here, dude.
I appreciate
Great
that.
fantasy house,
It's
man.
been a while, and we're trying to get this together for a while, and hopefully I've done it justice. I don't know.
Dude, you did a great job. That was honestly, Pasta Garden right there was awesome. I think the visual of the Aztec, like a modern version of Aztec house. I'm always on Instagram looking at trippy architecture. I haven't seen that I can recall. I love the tech behind walking through into your fish tank just with some sort of like future sci-fi gel, whatever you called it, some hilarious generic. Speaking of Rick and Morty, that would definitely like be like a funny joke in Rick and Morty, was be calling it something so cheesy and remedial. And I enjoyed like through the visual of going up and taking a bathroom dump up in space and seeing the turd reentry. Like, I feel like you knocked it out of the park. So thank you. Thanks for coming correct, man. You came correct, man. Dude, I feel like that might have to be a sticker of the month. It's just like I'm going to Photoshop in a poop into like a space shuttle or a space capsule, like an Apollo 13 capsule, but like a turd, because it's so funny.
On your fantasy podcast thing, you got to have a little, like in the picture, it's in your head. The
just
house
put that
is
in there?
your head. No, just have it in the back. Just a little turd burning up in re-entry.
If you look at the podcast album art, there's the back of the head is the telescope room, the astronomy telescope room. So that one, you could actually right outside that, you could have the turd like flaming up for the re-entry. I don't know, dude. Maybe we'll do that.
Let's do this. I want it as the picture of this one. I want the new picture with the little.
Okay. Well, Matt gets what Matt wants. Thank you for having.
Fantasy.
Thanks for having Jesus in your house, for all of my Christian friends. And my coworkers.
I thought I would have
people.
something unifying now.
Jesus is in the house, guys. He's in Matt's house, and he was great. He was not a letdown. He was non-judgmental. There was no pressure. It wasn't like my fear of meeting Larry David or Mel Brooks. You know what I mean? It was a lot more relaxing. Like, okay, like there we go. Like Jesus is here, and there's absolutely no pressure.
It's like, yeah, dude, whatever you want, just like come over and I'll just like talk about it later.
I don't know if I like Jesus with your hippie accent, but you know, you're annoying.
It's California, baby.
Because the accent you just gave Jesus, I was like, he sounds like someone I couldn't count on, and that I don't like. Guys, if this is your first time listening, hit the subscribe button. Give us a 5-star review. We are almost at 50. I'm very excited about that. Very grateful for it. Hashtag blessed guest in Matt's house. If you're a longtime listener, go ahead and hit the share button and send this to someone you know. Send this to someone that you know that likes Australians. Send it to someone you know that doesn't like Australians. Send it to someone you know that's never even heard of an Australian before, and they think that the only country in the world is France. Go ahead and share this episode with them. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in and being part of this. Be silly, have fun.